carried in my chest, and in return I had been left with nothing, not even a goodbye spoken face to face. Just a letter, just ink on paper, cold and final. The world around me moved on as if nothing had happened. Neighbors laughed on their porches, kids biked down the street, church bells rang on Sunday mornings. But inside my chest, it felt like the sun had burned out. I tried to find reasons to get up in the morning. I'd shuffle into the kitchen, put on the coffee pot, and stare at the steam rising. Sometimes I'd pour a second cup out of habit, placing it across the table where Matthew used to sit when he was younger. He'd always dunk cookies in his coffee, grinning as I pretended to scold him for ruining his breakfast. Now that cup stayed untouched, its steam curling into nothing. Some nights I'd take long walks past the high school football field where Matthew once ran down the sidelines, jersey clinging to him with sweat, shouting my name from the field. I remembered the pride I felt, the way I used to clap until my hands stung. I would stand there under the stadium lights, the echoes of past cheers haunting me until I couldn't bear it anymore. The hardest part wasn't the poverty, though that cut deep too, living off scraps, counting coins, swallowing pride at the food pantry. No, the hardest part was the love that refused to die, even when it had been betrayed. My heart still whispered his name at night. My lips still formed prayers for him, though my mind screamed he didn't deserve them. That's the curse of a parent. We love even when we shouldn't. One winter evening, snow falling soft against the windows, I found myself clutching that letter again. The paper was worn from how many times I had unfolded and refolded it, the ink smudged from my tears. I read the words slowly, every sentence a blade. I need to move on with my life, don't call. This is for the best, for the best. I laughed bitterly. Best for who? Best for him, sure. But for me, it was a death sentence. I was no longer a father. I was just discarded. And yet, as the days blurred into months, something inside me began to shift. Pain has a way of either killing you or carving you into something unrecognizable. At first, I thought I was dying, shrinking into nothing but memories and sorrow. But slowly, I realized I wasn't dead. I was still here. Broken, yes, but alive. One Sunday, at the urging of a neighbor, I went to the community center. They had a program where older men mentored boys without fathers, kids left behind by circumstances, by death, by abandonment. At first I resisted. I thought, what use am I to anyone? I couldn't even hold on to my own son. But the coordinator, a kind woman named Rosa, looked me straight in the eye and said, sometimes the ones who've lost the most are the ones who have the most to give. So I tried. The first boy I met was named James, a 12-year-old with tired eyes, too old for his age. His father had left when he was 5, and his mother worked double shifts to keep food on the table. James rarely smiled, but when I showed him how to fix an old bike, the same way I once showed Matthew, something lit up in his eyes. That flicker of joy, that small spark, it felt like breathing again. I didn't replace Matthew. No one could. The ache for my son never left me. Some nights it crushed me all over again. But helping James, and later other kids like him, reminded me that my love didn't have to die just because it had been rejected. Love, once given, doesn't vanish. It can be redirected, reshaped, passed on. Years from now, maybe Matthew will look back and regret what he did. Maybe he won't. That's his journey, not mine. But I can't keep waiting for a knock at the door that may never come. I think of him every day. I still pray for him every night. But now, when I whisper his name, it isn't only with pain, it's with hope. Hope that someday he'll understand what he threw away. Hope that if he ever does come back, he'll find me not as a broken man, but as someone who turned grief into something larger than himself. Because here's what I've learned. Betrayal may shatter you, but it doesn't erase who you are. I was a father who gave everything. I was a man who loved too much. And though my son left me with nothing, he also left me with the truth that my worth was never in what I owned, but in what I gave, and that I'll carry to my last breath.